Settle down, brother. This is the Quarter Report powered by ENCA.com. South Africa is a movie. Welcome to the watch party. I'm going to start today's show with a Lord of the Rings joke. After watching Madlanga yesterday, I have only one thing to say. One gun to rule them all, one gun to find them, one gun to bring them all, and in Madlanga bind them. Because in an extraordinary session of the Madlanga Commission yesterday, we got testimony claiming that the ballistics report around the Armand Swart case did not connect the gun used in the Armand Swart murder to at least 20 other murders. Yes, the ballistics report was supposed to show evidence that they now seem to have that one gun used against Armand Swart has been used in over 20 other murders. It is absolutely insane. It's insane to me that some or other criminal network is reusing the same guns over and over again to the point where this one gun might bring down all of these different people involved in all of these different murders. But that's the first big story we're going to talk about today. We're also going to talk about General Mkhwanazi, because since we were last with you last Thursday, he sent a text to the senior counsel to the committee in Ad Hoc when Bheki Cele was on the stand, saying, actually, no, never mind, I was wrong. His team made a frankly catastrophic, massive error that led to him claiming that Bheki Cele sent bank account details to Madlanga, and Madlanga sent back payment confirmation letters, and yet, late last week, he walked that back. And we need to talk about how such a massive mistake could have happened involving someone who, up until this point, the whole of South Africa has believed every single word of. If you haven't done so yet, please go and follow our WhatsApp channel. Go watch the full show on ENCA.com. The link is in the description on YouTube. And go buy our merchandise. 3beaniesnetwork.com is the merch link to go and buy your merchandise. We're about to release our Christmas or festive or holiday season range with a bunch of new stuff, including beanies. Weeks ago, someone on the committee said, Bheki Cele says that you're a good cop. And General Mkhwanazi responded by saying, yeah, he must know that I'm a good cop and that I will arrest him if he's done anything wrong. And then literally the next day, Mkhwanazi said that he had evidence showing that Bheki Cele had sent the details of a bank account to Madlanga, the person who did not get bail yesterday. The court said it would not be in the interests of justice to give him bail. I think everyone agrees with that. Not a controversial take from the court, but he's in jail right now, as you know, for money laundering and also the attempted or alleged attempted assassination of his ex-girlfriend, Pagani. So he didn't get bail, but Mkhwanazi brought texts and he claimed that Madlanga was sent bank account details by Bheki Cele, and in response, he sent back proof of payments from him or his people to that bank account to Bheki Cele. And General Mkhwanazi was very clear. He was like, this is not just texts. There's money involved here. This is criminal. That was literally the quote, which was why it was so alarming late last week when Senior Counsel Norman Arendse in Ad Hoc in front of Bheki Cele read out a text message that the committee had been sent from Mkhwanazi, withdrawing that whole thing, saying the team had made a mistake and that the bank account details or whatever were not a reference to Bheki Cele. And I'm going to read you out the text word for word because this is a massive, massive deal. And General Mkhwanazi has been seen as a completely reliable narrator this whole time. And yet this kind of error is an extremely serious and significant error of an extremely damning allegation that has shaped how we have seen Bheki Cele for a very, very, very long time. And we're going to talk in a second about the other very, very dodgy stuff that Bheki Cele absolutely confirmed that he did. But putting that stuff aside, this is the core allegation against him that South Africa has been running off. So I'm going to read you the direct quote that Norman Arendse read out of what exactly this text message said. Quote, the team that was working on the analysis got the bank account number wrong, and it's not a reference to you, that being Bheki Cele. The allegation is withdrawn with apologies from Mkhwanazi for any inconvenience or hurt caused. Now, frankly, that's just not enough information. That's not good enough of an explanation. As I said on the Dan Quarter Show TV show on ENCA last night, you can't text us about this. As I said last night, this is not breaking up some situationship with a baddie you met in Santon 2 weeks ago. This is a massive allegation. And if anybody else in this whole gemors of the Mkhwanazi cinematic universe had made and admitted to making a mistake like this, they would have had to and been expected to come out and explain themselves properly. Like, genuinely, what does it mean? The team that was working on the analysis got the bank account number wrong. It's not a reference to you. Does that mean that Maumela was paying to a different bank account that was not connected to Bheki Cele? Does that mean that there was no monetary relationship that they can tell yet via the evidence that they have, or from the evidence that they have, between Maumela and Bheki Cele? Does that mean that Bheki Cele and Maumela had any kind of text correspondence that indicated a flow of money? This is not a good enough explanation. And we now need General Mkhwanazi to come back to Ad Hoc and Madlanga and put on the record, as all the MPs have been saying, and explain himself, or at least explain what his team screwed up to cause this kind of situation. Because here's the thing. No matter how much we believe Mkhwanazi, no matter how much of his evidence stacks up to be true, and a lot of it so far seems to be true, a lot of it seems to be reputable and reliable information, no matter how much of that, and it wouldn't matter whoever this was, your credibility is fundamentally undermined at the point at which you make a mistake of this magnitude that you then have to admit and explain to yourself. And so even just so that we can continue to trust Mkhwanazi and believe him to be broadly a credible, reliable, truth-telling person, he needs to come and explain how exactly this happened, what exactly went wrong, and what exactly these texts mean. That is an absolutely reasonable request from all these MPs and a lot of people across South Africa, including hardcore Mkhwanazi supporters who want to understand how this happened and who have experienced him as a truthful, reliable, transparent, and open person. Come be truthful, reliable, open, and transparent about this. It's really, 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 really important that he does that so that we can understand what went wrong here. Right, let's talk about this gun. Okay, so quick refresher. Some of the witnesses last week at Madlanga, when they were talking about the Armand Swart murder investigation, said that a really dodgy ballistics report came out about the gun and the evidence in the Viano, the Mercedes Viano owned by Michael Puletau, who was then a policeman, but allegedly carried out an assassination hit on QTEX engineer Armand Swart when they thought that he was the whistleblower exposing the Molefes in this Transnet Springs inflated prices debacle. In his Viano, there were all of these cartridges. There was also a gun. I think there may even have been a couple of weapons, but there's a gun involved in this, right? And the witnesses last week said that they found it really, really troubling that a ballistics report about the Armand Swart murder came out that seemed to either not talk about this gun at all or not connect this gun to a raft of other investigations that were going on. Really seemed like maybe that gun was being ignored and purposefully excluded from the ballistics report to cover something up and to safeguard people like, I guess, Michael Puletau and members of the police force. And this is not the first time we've heard about this. General Mkhwanazi has spoken about dodgy ballistics reports, about maybe the ballistics divisions of SAPS having agents of corruption and agents of criminals in them manipulating the ballistics reports, which are really important, right? Because ballistics reports literally are the things that are used in court trials and investigations and cases to say, what gun was there? What cartridges were used? What did we find at the crime scene? But that is the key evidence that ultimately ends up putting people away for a long time and finding them guilty. So yesterday in Madlanga, we heard that the gun used to murder Armand Swart has now been linked to at least 20 other murders. But as written by Karen Morn in News 24, the first error-riddled report compiled by a police ballistics analyst failed to reveal a single one of these connections. And it's actually quite extraordinary. A journalist who I'll keep anonymous sent me a message yesterday because Madlanga laid this all out in a mind map, which looked suspiciously like our whiteboard. Although it's wild because on this mind map, you essentially see, I think, 5 different guns, or at least 4 different guns. And from them, you see this spider web of cases that these guns have been connected to that are being investigated. And there are tons and tons of murders. A lot of them are redacted, though, because the investigations are not at the stage yet where they can reveal whose murders exactly are being investigated. Some of them are murders, some of them are attempted murders, but there's hard evidence connecting these guns to all of these murders. Some of them include DJ Somebody and DJ Vintos, who Katie Molefe has just got bail for in the alleged for his alleged involvement after being arrested on charges for his alleged involvement in the assassination of those two DJs. These guns are all connected and are clearly being reused by at least the same organizers or being shared between criminal networks. I don't know if they have a timeshare on weaponry to go and commit crimes and to try to kill people. It's 20 or more different murders at this point. And again, I'm rewatching The Sopranos at the moment. I'm about to finish it. They always throw away the gun when they're done. They always wipe the prints. They always destroy the gun. Why are you reusing? And I'm not trying to berate, I am trying to berate criminals. I'm not trying to give them advice. But why, if you want to get away with it, are you reusing weaponry that has evidence on it or leaves trails of evidence to connect all of these different murders and therefore connect all these different charges and all these different investigations? It's really mind-blowing to me how either lazy or incompetent these assassins or these networks were, or just seriously lacking in guns, which I also find hard to believe considering just how many really expensive German and other European cars are owned by all these networks, which are far more expensive than these guns. Maybe they just believed they would never, ever get caught, or that the evidence would be choked up, spat out, thrown away, and meddled with and hidden within the ballistics divisions of SAP such that there would never be any consequences. Because otherwise, it is absolutely insane. But I started the show with that Lord of the Rings famous quote about the ring rewrite, because this is the kind of evidence that can link all of these and bring all of these different people down, show connections between who organized all of these different hits, and ultimately end up in us finding out why these people were being killed. Was it to protect and defend drug cartels to expand their work? Was it other kinds of crime? It could bring down a lot of people, including very, very powerful people. But again, shows you the danger of compromised or incompetent people in SAP's ballistics. Because if this ballistics report hadn't been discovered as error-riddled and been reviewed, the Amon Swad case would have just never been connected with all of these other gun charges and all the other evidence from all these other investigations.
I think you're being extremely unfair, Daniel, to all of these assassins.
Okay.
You are painting them as these evil men, these evil, evil men.
This is going to be quoted out of context.
But these assassins are patriots, Daniel.
Okay.
Can you imagine? You're at your job.
Okay.
You get a gun.
Okay.
You shoot someone. You throw it away. You do that 20 more times. That's 20 guns in landfills, Daniel. They are reducing, reusing, and recycling. They are patriots for this nation. They are not putting those guns, letting them choke the fish of the fish river.
Yeah.
The Orange River is clean because these men were so considerate to destroy our democracy as we know it.
None of these guns sleep with the fishes.
Hey.
I thought you were going to make that joke. I thought that's where you were going. My best joke about this, which is not as good as yours, to be fair, but I'm going to say it anyway, is maybe it was just their favorite gun.
Like, I'm really enjoying the weight and the action of this guy. Exactly. I can't throw it away.
That's
a
Christmas present from my girlfriend. Like, I've got a special connection. It's the way you talk about watches. It's like, this gun is special.
Yeah.
To quote Liverpool fans, it means more when you're using.
You'll never shoot alone.
Yeah. You'll never shoot again when
Hopefully.
using this gun. Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay. So that's the next big story. Now let's talk about something which was really handcrafted about this 52 million rand Italian hypercar. Go watch Skadonk. We have an expert here. The Pagani
Huayra.
Is that how the Italians say it?
That's how everyone says it. That is how Horatio Pagani says it.
Doesn't sound like an Italian pronunciation, Huayra. Anyway.
So interestingly...
Pause. I recently discovered, talking about handcraft... You're about to talk for like 45 minutes.
I've got a speech on Mr. Pagani.
So, interestingly, what I did not know, which James definitely knew already, is that speaking about a handcrafted gun, every single part of a Pagani Huayra Roadster is handmade, to the point where on every bolt and screw they have the Pagani logo on it. That's crazy. So they're like, it's one of the rarest cars in the world. They're probably less than 100 as far as we can tell. And Hangwani Maumela apparently bought this hypercar, 52 million rand cash, just a few weeks to months after Babita Deokaran blew the whistle on Tembisa and then was assassinated. It was white with Italian flag livery, and then he painted it his Frosty Azure blue or whatever that color is that he loves so much. It is. It's Azure Frost.
No. He wrapped it. He didn't paint it. Those are two different things.
Tell us about this car.
Okay, so interestingly enough, you're saying about pronunciation and stuff. Mr. Pagani, Horatio Pagani, is Argentinian, I think. Or he's from South America. And he went and started working at Lamborghini. And he was trying to revolutionize Lamborghini by getting them to use carbon fiber, which is very strong and very light. So completely changes the dynamics of the car. They weren't really keen, didn't really back him. So he started his own company. And he builds like 10 to 15 to 20, like a very low number of cars a year. And each one is like numbered and loaded. Like everyone knows where they all are. So this is like a Ferrari is common to a Pagani buyer. That is how exclusive this car is. And it is, as you said, like completely and utterly bespoke. Everything is like you buy it like to spec. You don't just go and buy it from a dealership. It's like hand built, handcrafted, what. So you also have to consider the fact that there is no Pagani showroom in South Africa. There will be brokers in the country
you can import
who would have a relationship with Pagani and get them sent to South Africa, which is why it costs so much money. I saw video of that car, not because they knew that it was Maumela, but because it was so extraordinary that they saw a Pagani of any description in this country. And it was known in the car community. No one knew who owned it, but people knew that this car was here and knew it was like potentially the only one in the country.
Right.
Potentially.
So how did Pagani make this car such a status symbol that people would spend such an insane amount of money on it? Because it's not inherently a better car than a raft of other cars that have been made. Is it just prestige, aesthetic, luxury purchases, kind of like a Chanel bag?
Yeah. Why does someone buy Gucci?
Okay.
And this is for like buying a Lamborghini is like, that's what like nouveau riche people do.
Plebs.
Like, no, that's literally what the pleb rich people do.
Okay.
If you really know your stuff, you're going to buy a Huayra.
Okay.
And
again, this is taxpayer money that was supposed to go to Tembisa Hospital to people who couldn't afford other kinds of healthcare, who were in desperate, potentially life-threatening situations.
It is unspeakably disgusting that he did this, allegedly, obviously.
You're so much like our dad.
What do you mean?
You use the word unspeakably all the time.
It's crazy how it's one-to-one.
Yeah.
That every time one of these people gets caught, they have bought an insane car.
Totally.
And I'm not talking an insane car like a Porsche.
Yes.
Porsche is like a Toyota Corolla in comparison to a Lamborghini Ultimate or a Huayra or something like that.